You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What a bullshit ass pay-per-view. You know, I'm not one to rant. You know, for people who've been subscribed here for a long time, people know I'm not one to throw a fit. I'm not one to rant unless it's something about a serious topic, something that's not even entertainment related. And even then, it's few and far between. Now, I'm going to go over this review real quick, only because that's what this is supposed to be. But let's be honest here. We all know, if you're watching this video, why you're watching it, okay? And we all know why we got up this morning and we're going on YouTube and we're watching people's different reactions to this pay-per-view, in particular the ending. So don't expect a detailed review on this card because it wasn't that great to begin with, okay? And then we're going to get into the final part of the match. Now, the first match, fantastic. These two ladies did a great job, probably the best match on the card, which was Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. I enjoyed it. I don't agree with the result. I think Sasha should have won, but that doesn't take away the fact that it was a great, great match, okay? So that's that. Then we move on to the tornado tag. You know, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan. It was fine. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it got progressively better. Obviously, the good guys win. All happy, all good. Fine. So we move on from that. And then this is where this pay-per-view really starts to take a significant dip. So then the next match, we get Bayley and Charlotte Flair. I mean, you could have guessed this one easily. And you know, I'm a huge Charlotte Flair fan. I think she's fantastically athletic. But 10 championships already? Really? That I'll save this for a whole nother WWE video I'm going to do this week. Then we get a women's tag team match, which is a tag team championship match between Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Really? These guys still exist? And look, I'm not upset about the results, but I don't know. I mean, was I supposed to care? I haven't seen them in weeks. Then they pop out of nowhere, and they win a championship, a tag team championship, that there's already rumors going around that because there's going to be a draft now, they might be retiring these belts because they have, these are supposed to be universal, but I guess the Fox deal, they have a certain list of wrestlers they want there, so you can't cross, you know, go with these belts cross show. I don't know. It's a rumor. We'll see what happens after the draft over the next week, if people are even going to be watching or caring. But anyway, Kabuki Warriors win the belts. I'm happy they won, honestly. But then we had Chad Gable and Baron Corbin. Why? Why? What's the significance of this? Corbin's already beat his ass. If there was going to be any good storytelling with these two, it would have been that Chad Gable won their prior match. He didn't. So the fact that he won here, yes, I'm happy for Chad Gable. He's a great athlete, but they're treating him like crap. They're doing this whole short stuff. Even Charlie Caruso rolls up to him after the match and says, hey, Short, I mean, what the hell is going on? Then we have a 6-man tag match between the Viking Warriors and the OC, special guest or secret whoever. Doesn't that matter? I mean, I was guessing Ricochet at first. Then I was like, oh, maybe Cedric Alexander. But no, it's Braun Strowman. And the reason for this was because they want to push this whole fight and feud he's having with Tyson, whatever his name is. At this point, I was like, oh, my God, I can't wait for the Fiend and Seth Rollins to save this pay-per-view. Then finally, we get to the main event. And this is where the majority of this video is going to spend its time because there was this match. Look, again, I am not one to rant and rave. I'm not. It's just not really my style. I'm generally an optimistic person. Even in some of the worst scenarios, I try to see where the good is or where the glass is half full. I cannot find that here. I cannot. I was genuinely disappointed last night when I saw this pay-per-view, which for me is a rarity, for me to have a reaction like this to anything entertainment related. And if I had done my review last night, which is what my original plan was, in fact, I wasn't even going to do a freeform review like I'm doing now. I was going to do it the proper way. I wanted to do it with my script, writing. I wanted to get some pictures, present. There's no way. There's no way I could have done that last night. I was so upset. And let's go through this match. First of all, the red light thing, give me a fucking break, okay? Can we stop this? These gimmicks? I understand there was some people who thought it was pretty good. I did not like this. Even watching from home, I was like, this is annoying on my eyes, okay? I get it. The Fiend, you wanted to make it thematic. You wanted to make it very engrossing. I understand that. Not here, okay? It just, to me, was very gimmicky. There was some spots in this match that I thought made the Fiend look worse before we even got to the ending. Not bad, not anything he couldn't recover from. The red lights was one of them. It made him feel like a gimmick. Then he pulls out this fucking Harley Quinn big hammer, which is obviously a bigger version of the one on his Funhouse show. Again, very gimmicky. Very gimmicky. But again, that's recoverable. You can recover from that. I get that. As the match progresses, they are making the Fiend look fantastic. There were some spots here that were just incredible. You know, kicking out at one, getting up from being hit with a baboon stick, and, you know, not getting up, but just reacting to it like it's nothing. Getting up from Seth Rollins' first curb stomp, and then all the ones to follow. But then they started going overboard. Suddenly, the Fiend went from looking strong, from getting out of all these moves, to basically laying there and getting his ass pummeled by Seth Rollins. Now, I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to tell the story was that this engagement between Seth Rollins and the Fiend is taking Seth to a dark place. And he's doing things he normally wouldn't do in a match. And there were some areas where I understood that. And I was like, okay, I can roll with that. Seth Rollins is starting to lose himself. I get that. That's actually good, okay? But then they went too far. They just went too far. The guy was kicking out at one after getting beat with a chair or whatever the case may be. And suddenly now he's just laying there. He's taking a beating. The crowd is getting very impatient because the crowd is probably feeling the same way I'm feeling. You made this guy just 5 minutes ago look like a beast. Now suddenly he's going to lay there and just take this ass whipping from Seth Rollins, who's already before this already starting to lose his fans. So there's already booking decisions that have been made regarding him that are causing fans to just be like, I'm done with this. Then on top of that, after getting chairs in the face, getting a headshot while laying down, then getting a toolbox. All these chairs, the toolbox, laying on top of the Fiend. Then Seth Rollins goes out there. He grabs a sledgehammer. He's about to hit the Fiend. The ref stops him and is telling him, don't do this, don't do this. He's already out like a light, whatever. He pounds the hammer, presumably on the Fiend's face. The bell rings. And I lost it. The fans in the arena lost it. How do you do this? How do you do this? The Fiend was a silver platter just handed to WWE at the right time. And you mean to tell me they actually screwed this up? Now, look, I've been back to watching wrestling since 2015. Before that, I had watched wrestling from when I was a kid back in the 80s all the way up to the death of Chris Benoit. Then I took a break, and then I came back. And I can tell you, in all the years of watching wrestling, watching WCW, which have done their share of bad things, watching whatever independent wrestling I can get my hands on during the time, this is the worst thing I've never reacted to this when it comes to wrestling. This is the worst time to make a botch like this. You're basically handing fans over to AEW on a silver platter. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, that's not true. WWE fans will be back. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I've seen the ratings dip over the last couple of years. And while I know there's some people out there who will just talk smash and talk about leaving and never will, there's some people who legitimately do. There were people in this arena chanting refund. There were people in this arena chanting AEW. Not even 5 minutes after that was happening, Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks is tweeting, come back Wednesday, or I'm paraphrasing here, we'll be back Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. I mean, this is an embarrassment. And I got to tell you, I don't know what it's going to be like tonight on Raw. I'm definitely going to be watching. I will review it. You won't see too many Raw reviews on the show, on E.T.N, because the product has not been that great to begin with, and on top of that, it's 3 hours, and I wouldn't be giving a fair review on WWE Raw because a lot of times I just can't pay attention to it. But I'm going to be paying attention tonight, and we're going to discuss it tonight because I suspect either no one's going to show up, which would be I don't care what, or everyone's going to show up and give it to the WWE and give it to Vince McMahon. Now, what I expect from WWE is to probably turn around and try and fix this. And it wouldn't surprise me if The Fiend wins the title tonight. But even if that happens, I'm not sure the fans are going to be behind it. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out this week. Even NXT is probably going to be affected by the result of this pay-per-view. I mean, they already lost to AEW in the ratings, which, was more or less expected. But I think it's going to be, I really think people are going to send a message this week to WWE because now they have another option. They have another option now. So it's not like they're forced to come back. They're not. So I don't know. This was a horrible pay-per-view. This is one of the worst pay-per-views I have ever seen since I've been back. And WWE has had some bad ones. They've had some gems, to be fair. They've had some great pay-per-views. But this was bad. This was a poor decision. You buried two of your... I hope people still cheer The Fiend. I'm not 100% sure. Because at the end, they showing a close shot of him after he beats up Rollins and makes him bleed at the mouth and all this crap. And he still... the fans are giving it to us. But again, I don't think that's necessarily at The Fiend. I think that's, a lot of times the fans boo the wrestlers, but that's the way for them to get to the people in the back, the production. Because none of these guys are going, people understand, these guys are going out there, they're selling their body, they're putting their bodies on the line. In fact, I think sometimes wrestlers take it too personal. I think a lot of times fans are not booing the wrestler, they're booing the way they were booked. And they do that because they care. They do that because they want to see certain wrestlers get over, or they want to see certain wrestlers they like or appreciate in a better light. And the company shits all over these guys. So we're going to have more WWE videos this week because I have a lot of fun here on the channel doing speculative kind of videos and things of that nature. And I got a little mini series I want to do on how I would fix WWE going forward after this debacle. So stay around for that. We'll have a couple of them. We'll probably actually start that series after the draft. I kind of want to see where WWE places their wrestlers, and then we're going to go from there. But this was just a shit show, a complete shit show. I mean, this was horrible. And I don't blame people for being upset because if I'm upset, I can only imagine people who've been watching WWE longer than me. Because like I said, I had a long gap between the time Chris Benoit died and I came back to watching wrestling. So, but there have been people who have been watching as far back as I have, systematically, continuously. So, jeez, man, I can't believe they blew this. Anyway, guys, that's it for this review. I know it wasn't quite as detailed as it should have been, but again, considering how bad the pay-per-view was, I think people are more interested in probably seeing everyone's take on the ending of this pay-per-view. And as you probably can see, there's no surprise here. My reaction, this is just one of the worst things, probably the worst time invested in any entertainment-related source that I've ever spent my time, whether it's playing a game, watching another movie. This is the worst time I've ever invested in any entertainment entity in recent memory. Like, if I could go back and change time, I wouldn't have watched this. I would have watched something else, or I would have played a game, or I would have gone to sleep. Any of those would have been more entertaining than this. This was horrible. This is horrible.